Hey, I am back. It's Kai slash Jelly Dude, and today we're doing an episode of Kerbal Space Program. In today's mission, I'm gonna do a space station mission. We're to send, I think, 15 astronauts all the way to the space station that I have currently built, partially. So, let's get into the game now. For those of you who live under a rock, Kerbal Space Program is literally where these little tiny frog guys and gals build rocket ships and explore the universe, mostly the solar system. So this is this Kerbal Space Center that has been added with mods. God's sakes. There's Launchpad 39, Launch 40, and Launchpad 41. So today's mission, we are going to use the giant space shuttle with a few bit of upgrades to get to the space station Skylab 2.0. Yes, this is a very dumb name because Skylab has been taken in the real life space program. So just don't mind it, okay? So 15 astronauts. Now, if you have seen my Instagram posts, there's like 65 astronauts or something like that. Now I'm gonna have to pick a mission, which was a moon mission. That was Apollo 26, I think. So now I'm just gonna have to open the file, and I'm gonna go to the untitled spacecraft, or let's see what this says, Pathfinder shuttle. There it is. So loading the Pathfinder shuttle, which I added some upgrades via the modded items for this thing to actually work, because building the thing in actual stock Kerbal is very, very, very hard, if not unrealistic. So this is the Pathfinder shuttle. As you see, it's called Pathfinder because there's a bunch of names for the OV100 mod that I'll put a link down in the description for it. But as you can see, there's a crazy amount of decal you could use and names you could use. Now in real life, basically there was 6: Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, Endeavour, and Enterprise. The other names were basically just extra names that were for new shuttles that were never built. But in this case, we could use Pathfinder because it has never used. Now, people are gonna say that I stole the name from the For All Mankind series season 2. No, I didn't. It was just there. So calm down. So now for two things: the crew and the actual mission. So technically, there's 4, like, just regular Kerbalnauts, but then I just add real people's names that I know in real life to the game. Now I hide their real identities, so don't expect me to say their last names at all, because I'm not giving it away. So technically, we have the MK2 crew pods on the backside of the space shuttle inside the payload bay. There's 2 of them, so that gives 8 extra seats. And behind them is a mobile processing lab for science experiments when they're not on the space station. So in this case, I need to pick 8 pilots, and the rest are, I think, few engineers and scientists. So, because just for kicks, I'm going to put myself in the front seat, because I'm toxic at all times, as the people in real life know me. Let's pick. I don't know. This is hard. It's hard to find pilots because there's low pilots and very low engineers, which is probably the next set of astronauts that's going to come in. So he's going to be my pilot, my co-pilot, and I need 2 backup pilots inside the shuttle, just in case if both of us becomes incapacitated. So we're gonna choose not him because he flown on the old mission already. He just flown recently on the Apollo 26 mission in my game. So I'm gonna pick let's see, Ooh, it's so hard to find people in this. This is the challenge of trying to do this in real life. Okay, I am going to add her, and I'm going to add, again, finding pilots is hard. Let's go for eeny, meeny, miny, any mo's. What I'm seeing right now is there's like very few women pilots, weirdly. Whoops. Probably forgot, because most of them are scientists to my mistake. Like, for God honest sakes. I keep putting most of them as scientists. Let's just put her as co-pilot, backup co-pilot. Okay, gonna need 2 engineers. Well, technically 3, because this is gonna be needed for the this is gonna be needed when we get there. So, and for the people that I'm not adding, either they've flown the current mission or they will be flying on a classified mission that will not be posted on YouTube ever because it's classified. So I'm gonna put him. What? Him has a has senior engineer, secondary engineer, and backup engineer. Yeah. So that's the crew, the flight and mid decks. Now the crew cabins, which gives out 8 seats. Let's see. There'll be, I know there'll be 2 backup pilots because they need actual pilots on the space station to control its attitude. So I'm gonna pick these 2. Now if there's any engineers other than the ones inside the shuttle. Let's go for. This is hard. Okay, can't pick her because she just flew on the mission. Let's go with. God, it's so hard to pick. These last 4 can't fly yet because they just joined. Yeah, they're joins. So they're junior astronauts. They're still trying to intern for the senior astronaut in case of emergency. Just in case. So they probably will fly in the next YouTube video that I might post. Oh, by the way, for those people who are complaining that I didn't post, just to be honest, there was this pandemic and I actually got it. So yeah, that part sucked. So I had to spend some time trying to figure out the health problems of it. Alright, for now we're gonna skip the engineers except for her in because I can't really find any good engineers. This is why I'm adding more engineers in the next time on the next Instagram post. I am going to add her. Any guy scientists? Him. Okay, let's go for she's a scientist. Let's see. Engineer. This is gonna suck because look at these names. It's hard. I'm just gonna pick him for kicks. And one more scientist. Sure, her. So that's the crew. There's me. There's these 6 people, and then there is 8. There's 8 inside for the space stations. So now the goal is hopefully the shuttle doesn't blow up while we try to fly this thing, which is known as a very, very, very hard challenge. So, closing the payload bay, make sure all the flight systems are checked because I know that I might miss something during the launch and I have to revert all the way back to this sooner or later because I always end up making mistakes somehow and not checking something. But from the looks of it, struts and solid rocket boosters, external tank, and all the payload bay is secure. The launch clamps are good to go. No problems there. Alright, so I'm going to see this thing out on the launch pad. Did you not? For the first few seconds, it was fumbling all over the place. Because this thing is not known for its stability and it's for its safety. In today's terms, because there was 2 accidents out of 135 flights in the real life shuttle. So yeah, that is always a comforting sight to hear. So now the setting is self-void. It's like a 91-degree angle flight, which is tough to fly. Unless it's like on 90 degrees and I can't see anything. So, this flight, so you can actually see how the orientation of the shuttle is. I'm here, he's here, she's here, she's here. Him, her, him. Okay, we're good. So all aboard the backup pilots to guide us to the space station. It cannot be controlled from the front side pilots, me and Michael. So we have engine ignition. We have startup. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, release, release. Alright. The shuttle has lifted off. Carrying 15 astronauts, the most has ever in one of the biggest flights in space history, to the new station Skylab 2.0. And it has cleared the tower. Now with this, I made sure there's no roll program, because the roll program without MechJeb 2.0, yeah, it gets complicated. And you would get a very wanky orbit, because of my computer's very slow way to react. It looks smooth-ish, but that's because graphics suck on a MacBook. And the fact that I'm using this MacBook makes it more harder, because graphics and CPUs suck. So at least it gives me more chances to do anything if anything fails on this mission. Hopefully it doesn't. So as I do the pitch maneuver to try to hit 90 degrees and hopefully get into the correct orbit, please God. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to have to do a lot of correction maneuvers off the video, which is painfully annoying. Currently ahead of 135 meters per second. Altitude is currently 1,500 meters. So the Kerbal Space Program is only 70,000 meters rather than the 100,000 that is in real life, because of course Kerbal makes it way easier for us dumbheads. For in actual real life, you would need like 7,500 meters per second or something like that in the number here in this speedometer. Not like the Kerbal Space Program where you're like 2,500 meters per second or something like that. So now the point of max Q is that if we hit 5,000 meters and it goes 300 plus, yeah, that means aerodynamic forces are going to kick in, which the graphic's going to show. Hopefully not, because if it does, then that might show some serious trouble, because that means the thing is going a little too fast. Because that's the worst thing for it to happen, is going too fast, and it might break apart, because that has happened before on Kerbal Space Wheel. As the Kraken doesn't like high definition graphics on a low CPU computer, which is why I'm having a lot of trouble trying to read the instruments. It's supposed to be flickering all numbers, but now it's going a few seconds, like 3 times a second. Rather than infinitely, I can't see anything. Currently, the orbit is now 340 meters per second. Altitude is now 7,300 meters. Hopefully we can actually make it to orbit, because this is going slow-ish. I'm switching it now to ProGrade because now I don't trust myself flying this thing because I can't pitch fast enough to get into the correct orbit. Because our orbit's supposed to be at 250,000 meters, all by 250,000 meters, just to dock with the space station. Now it gets more complicated because on the space station there is a bunch of remote controls that are controlling the station, which is a pain in the butt because you have to wait for the computers to align itself. So, in this case, yeah. The bad thing about the Kerbal Space Program, inside my very low storage MacBook Air, is the fact that, oh boy, the speed is slow. I'll try to figure out a way to fix the CPU and make it faster because at this point it usually gets very annoying because it stands there for like a minute or so and like there's nothing to do about it. And this time I got lucky is because it doesn't freeze up, and this yeah, forgive me for that because this computer sucks anyway. I'm tagging the people that I put on this mission on Instagram, but well, maybe should I? Yeah, sure. So there's people who had asked me not to be on this video because for their privacy's sake, so I'm going to respect that. So that's why they're not flying on this mission. So they will be flying, it's just that won't be on YouTube. Speed is at 600 meters per second. We are currently making a good trajectory. Good thing about Kerbal Space Program, no ice could fall off. Now I'm just making a reference to what happened to Columbia. If for all the space nerds know, a piece of foam had to hit on the left wing and causing the crew to not survive re-entry when they come back. So, luckily in Kerbal Space Program, we don't have that issue. But we already talked about Kerbal Space Program where it's like mod parts and nothing can go wrong. Unless you buy one of the mod parts where anything can go wrong, like from radiation to low life support systems or faulty sensors and all that. I know there's a mod for that, it's just that I will never get it because I already suck even on perfect engines and perfect boosters. I always suck on the trajectory part. So, I know I'm never getting that mod. No offense to the mod creator who did that, but it's just way too hard for these medium level players like me. Because I ain't high smart brain like some others there out on YouTube like Matt Lown or Scott Manley. Because they're way too better. Unless they're doing the For All Mankind Jamestown base. I could definitely build that. It's just, it would just be not as pretty as what they did in the actual show. Looks like our Delta V on the solid rocket boosters are decreasing very rapidly. We're standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Solid rocket booster set, guidance now converging to prograde, aiming the shuttle for its precise orbit and apoapsis, and then we'll have main engine cutoff. Now thankfully the computers are perfectly timed for this orbit because if not, So, the goal is to get 250,000 meters. So that's when I could shut off my engines, and I could boost my way up to 250,000 meters. Once I do that, then it's just a matter of docking with the station, which is going to be pretty hard because we're doing a very weird way of docking. The docking method will be, once we rendezvous, we have to basically get the station to align with our docking port, and both docking ports must be parallel and be connected together. Otherwise, we will not get a hard dock, and we won't be able to get inside the station and start doing the things that we are supposed to do. And these include activating the giant I'm forgetting the name because I can't speak today. But it's a part where it will spin to create artificial gravity. Yeah, I can't really think today because, guys, it's a Sunday on the day I'm recording this. So yeah, my brain is literally, I think it's called the centrifuge. So it looks like it's getting towards nighttime, which is kind of a bad thing for me because I can't deal with orbits that well. Because I can't see where the position is without looking at the nav ball, and without looking at the nav ball, it will suck. Anyway, the crew seems looking fine, including myself, because currently the orbits are fine. They're falling out of the area, which is a good thing, because if it did, oh well, that sounds like a tile missing, and I really hate tile missing when we fall back down to Earth. So now, you know the shuttle is capable of landing like an airplane, but I've done maneuvers to make sure that it could land on the water too. So that although it won't be reusable, it will be able to keep the crew safe. So I've done a lot of practice maneuvers off screen to make sure that works. So that just in case we ever had to land at the ocean, which is a lot of times, yeah, we could able to get the crew safely no matter what. Now the thing that would scare me a little bit trying to do the landing is that if we try to land near a mountain area, because their areas are not known for being flat, and I kind of need a flat surface, otherwise it will crash and kill the crew, which is something I'm not interested in doing. So hopefully it works. So currently, now here's the problem in Kerbal Space Program. If you do one little wrong maneuver in this, like add a little roll, then it will start going haywire. So as I get to 250,000 meters on the Appalachian height, the crew seems to be fine, and Delta V looks pretty good right here. Thrust to weight ratio is pretty low compared to other space shuttle tanks that I've used in the past, but that's probably just because we're just using the same stock engines that has been used in Kerbal Space Program to replace the RS-25. Because of course stock engines, oh yes, they're more powerful, and then you can cheat your way through any hard spots, like landing. They're crazily overkill in terms of power. If you're using like a very, very, very light rocket. Of course, it's a heavy rocket, so that's why it has like low TWR, thrust to weight ratio. So we're getting close by to 250,000 meters. Stand by for Miko. We have Miko. So I'm trying to do this orbit so I could actually fly. Rush Delta V. It's into orbit. 3, 2, 1. Okay. 1,000. Now, hopefully, whoa. Hopefully we can make it there. As we can tell, we can't see a thing inside space because it's hard to see when it's like this. So, also there's a couple things that are different of Kerbal space program in actual and in the real life thing. There's no boil off of liquid fuel because it's all generalized. In the real life, it's hydrogen and oxygen, and hydrogen is known to boil off quickly. So yeah, so for this case, it's just liquid fuel that just doesn't boil off, unfortunately. So it's not that realistic, but it's pretty realistic enough if you add enough mods just to make it passable in doing so. So the crew reports. So I'm going to do a burn right now because I'm going to try to figure this out. As I said, it gets wacky because the main engines are not known for doing this well in Kerbal Space Program without being spin stabilized. And that would usually mess with the SAS, Stability Assist System. And yeah, that would mess up my controllers, but I have no choice. Spin stabilize it is. Hope the crew doesn't get busy enough. They can't see anything. We should be able to see certain things, but we're keeping the roll control to it now. This reminds me of Armageddon, where they had to do like a spin stabilize so that they could activate solid rocket boosters on their sides. Because otherwise, if they don't, yeah, then solid rocket booster will push them somewhere else, and it makes it very unrealistic to boost yourself like that. Okay, this flight's gonna be a little rough. Engaging the radar. Try to take the manual control of it so that it doesn't fly nuts. As if it does, again, we might go the wrong way. But no choice. Oh, never mind, because they have monopropeller. And monopropellers are usually for RCS control systems because they are very stable and they mix with combustion, just like when they touch each other. So yeah, they are great for RCS, which makes it simple and reliable. Warning everybody, in real life, monoprops and hypergolic fuels are insanely toxic. So do not go near them at all without a gas mask. Because if you do, and you breathe this stuff in, you're not going to be alive to tell the story about it. Fun fact for all of you working in the industry that are novice. Because I know the senior engineers probably know that it's toxic as hell. So this is one of the longest burns that I have to do ever, is because of the fact that heading towards the space station is not a piece of cake, especially with this slow computer like that. It just wants to lag out right now, and also the fact that the RS-25 engines aren't working as efficiently as they should be because, well, they're carrying a giant fuel tank. So once after I do this maneuver by dropping the tanks off, that means we're currently in orbit. Technically, I really don't need the flight engineer, but I can do that. So I have both screens right here. So the next maneuvers I'm going to do, it's going to be a giant burn external tank. Once I release the tank, I know the engine's going to go wacky, so I'm going to do a low thrust burn to make sure that I don't fly out of control. As if I do, it will suck. That's when I have to do a lot of burn time passing by, which is not great when in terms of fuel efficiency and efficiency for the mission, because these guys run on fuel cells. If you know it's Shuttle, these guys run on fuel cells rather than using any types of batteries, because of the fact that they thought fuel cells were the lightest thing ever. Well, fuel cells has the problem of not reliable when it comes to electrical problems. So that's why the Orion spacecraft, which is supposed to fly January next year, is going to be using solar panels and batteries. Of course, battery technology has improved on from the older days. So that means batteries are now more lightweight. This also has learned from a previous space mission, Apollo 13, the famous mission that didn't get a chance to land the moon due to an explosion. Now, that explosion took out all the fuel cells because they ran out of oxygen to power the damn fuel cells, because you need hydrogen and oxygen to power the fuel cells, which creates electricity and the byproduct water. So basically, without the fuel cells, you're basically your whole thing will shut down. Because they had to shut down 2 out of the 3 healthy fuel cells just so that it might stop the leak, which unfortunately didn't work. They had to go to a lifeboat, which is the Lunar Excursion Module, or the LEM for short. Yeah, those are fun facts in space history. As you guys probably might know, if you know me in real life, and from telltale signs playing this game, that I'm kind of a space nerd. Oh boy. As we currently speak, I'm currently a senior right now, hopefully trying to get to the colleges I want. In this case, Cal Poly Pomona, and why not Kicks UCI? I'm just doing that for kicks, because yes, there's a good engineering program, but I'm sure I want to do the tuition and pay all and do all that. Because UCI is known for more of a doctor's school rather than an engineering school. So we're just going to do. So I'm going to do UCI for only kicks, just to see if it actually allows me. I doubt it, but if I actually get the application say, hey, I got in, sure, I'm going to go to UCI. And if both options fail, hey, Air Force, I'm coming to you. Because certain military is like third real last option. Other than YouTube doing this for a job. So currently, the burns are in low power mode. According to my standards, because they're low TWR, for God's sakes. It's been a very, very, very tiring burn. It's almost falling me asleep. So I want you guys to go in the comments and say, hey, what mission should I do next? A rover mission to Mars, a man mission to Mars, moon base on the moon. You could do another space station, but it's going to probably be boring compared to all you guys, because I don't want to do another space shuttle mission. Because space shuttles are dangerous and complicated. This is why this is probably the only space shuttle mission you'll probably see in this channel. So, about the last last video I posted, the vlogs, and then my disappearance. Thanks to this pandemic, I actually had COVID. So yeah, for a week that sucked because it was during distance learning school. So trying to do this, try and survive COVID and finish school during that week was probably one of the longest weeks I had. So after that period, I decided to take a break and actually take care of myself for a while. So besides, I'm only thinking of YouTube as a hobby. This is like my backup option, just in case if all thing goes bad. Because although it's hopefully I get supporters. So because of that, I'm probably gonna only post once a month. That's basically on my average, but I might post once a week in a short limited period when there is not that much work to do, like after this month because this month is all about scholarships and applications for college. So yeah, this is probably my only video for the month, but who knows, I might add another one. So release. Heck, I guess release. Don't worry about it hitting. In real life, that would suck for the space shuttle. But in Kerbal Space Program, no need to worry. Switching to RCS mode because RCS is my best friend. I use the engines and RCS to boost me into the correct orbit. Okay, we got to the correct orbit. So I'm gonna fast forward this because it takes hours of math try to figure this out. So then yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. So as you probably see now, I've done the correction burnings that was able to make sure that it goes near the space station as a rendezvous. So this is probably the closest rendezvous I've got. 200 meters. So the target Skylab, I'm gonna point this one using this Clampetron docking module tool. So that makes it easier for contacts. On the other side, as it loads up, this is the target docking port at here, and must target it at docking port of the shuttle, which is going to be a giant controlling maneuver. So on the back of this craft that helps dock the thing. So as we're doing this, I'm setting this thing so that it can connect. This is probably the first and probably the last space shuttle docking I'm going to do, because space shuttles are not my thing, because they're extremely dangerous and they're too complicated in my head, because aerodynamics get involved. I really hate aerodynamics when it comes to flying vehicle, because it messes with my head. Anyway, so as we try to figure this out, switch back to the shuttle, and I'm gonna start doing the maneuvers required on the RCS to aim for the docking port. RCS. So now the dimension on this is a little weird because I'm not used to flying shuttles like this. .5, 0.6 meters per second. As we're getting closer, looks like pitch. As we're getting closer, we're going to do the final maneuvers. Looks like Houston gives us a go for docking. Alright, Annie and Taylor, give us a good docking. Hopefully this goes right. So this video is going to be a part 1 out of 2, which is basically this is first part of the mission. The part 2 will be the return back home, which is going to be probably posted next week because of the time limitations that I have as a high school student. Yay! So once we rotate the centrifuge and get all the crew in, we're gonna end it for the rest of this video because as I record this right now, I am increasingly getting tired and I'm almost getting brain fog. Thanks, COVID. Anyway, back to the video. Looks like docking port looks right. Probably MechJeb would have warned me if there's any collision. MechJeb is known for doing that, so please don't screw it up. God, the RCS is pretty loud in Kerbal. Two and 3, 2, 1. We have hard docking, ladies and gentlemen. In 3, 2, 1. Because now there's 3 engineers that could do the spinning for me. Because in this case, this space station requires 3 people to rotate it with. So you guys can't hear the music because I purposely turned it off because 1, I don't like hearing the music during when I'm trying to do calculation. It gets to my head. And number 2, there's a possibility that it might be copyrighted. So hey, blame it on the developers because I don't want copyrighted. So yeah. So it looks like the centrifuge will spin fine. It will spin, I think, up to 0.2 something for G's. So I just need to remember who gets to fly on the mission and who doesn't. Ah, yes. To everybody after Brandon will be staying at the station. Well, the rest of us 7, they mentioned me, Michael, and the other 5 that will be shown will fly back home to Earth. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of crew transfer. Let's see, transfer crew. There's so many modules I could put them in. Oh, jeez. Beverly's got moved into that habitation module. 2 is getting transferred to this module. And Ian finally gets transferred to this module. Is there enough space? Okay, yeah, there's enough space. Okay, there's one more. Okay, there's Pierce. I'm gonna put them in the centrifuge just for torturing them. Haha. So have fun throwing up, you two. I'm gonna put the ladies probably in one of these habitation modules or command control modules. Yeah, this command control module. Station court. Transfer the crew. That's the final one. Into the station core it goes. And with that, we have completed this mission. Now I'm going to turn off all of these engines because I do not want a chance of a burn at any case, because if it does, it's going to suck. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 engines shut down. Now, thanks to the solar panels on the old spacecraft that was here before, it could provide the power of the station at any time. So guys, I was editing the video on iMovies, and it turns out like the last, I would say 50 seconds got cut off from the video, so I'm just gonna cut off that part. Basically what I said is I'm gonna get the Pathfinder to land at hopefully the Kerbal Space Center and not in the mountains. And my ocean, oh yeah, the giant ocean becomes my backup landing area. So, and hopefully there's no holes in the space shuttle. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button and please consider subscribing. And if you want to give me more ideas for more content, just comment down below. So I will hopefully see you guys next time.